Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Homage to the Blessed One, the Worthy One, the Supremely Enlightened One. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Today we are going to yesterday, last week we did start it that, but today we're going to enter in the suttas, or we're going to enter in the understanding of 37 factors of enlightenment. So this entire path of Supreme Buddha's Dhamma, or the purpose of Dhamma, to attain enlightenment, to liberate ourselves from all the suffering, sorrow, lamentation, and attain the bliss of Nibbana. So for that purpose, this entire 40 years of Supreme Buddha's teaching is there. That all the routes, all the path, all the teachings has one direction completely. Everything what Supreme Buddha taught us, everything. Even if he is speaking about the Sila, he's leading us our life toward one. Like if we compare our life, most of the time we do not have a direction to go somewhere, like when we are young, that time we decide so many things. We decide, I want to be that, I want to be this, and then we choose some path, it leads a little bit further, and then we change the direction or we alter our life. So we cannot say that I am going steady on the single path in my life. So many changes. But when you see about Dhamma, that all the teachings leads toward one direction only. Even Supreme Buddha is speaking about the heavenly world and how to reach there. That also the part of leading in the single direction. That we should understand first. When the Supreme Buddha is teaching about the generosity, that generosity also leads toward attaining enlightenment. Okay. Then, when the Supreme Buddha is teaching about patience, that is also leading toward that. Energy, effort, mindfulness, everything, every teaching of Supreme Buddha leads our life toward enlightenment. So we should understand that whatever we do, the part of Dhamma, everything what we practice according to Dhamma, according to teaching of Supreme Buddha, that or those everything is leading our life closer toward enlightenment. So when that is the case, then we should understand in so many ways that I have seen people regret sometimes that, okay, I'm unable to do this particular thing for a long time, or I'm unable and I'm distracted or something. So even in those times, if you are practicing the one bit of Dhamma, it means your life is still on the path. You're still walking correctly. So that will help us that to be steady on the practice of Dhamma. Because once the regret comes, what happened? Then you feel a little bit shameful for you. And then the diligence what you had toward practices, those reduce little bit. The effort what you take, those you lose little bit. And you get distracted by smaller things. And then you completely go away from the path. So that should not happen. So in this sutta, or in this entire 37 factors of enlightenment, these things what I'm talking about, that walking continuously on the path, has been mentioned. That things are there. So every day or every time when you think of sila, what it does? So it does you to help to walk on the path of enlightenment, or collecting or practicing these 37 factors of enlightenment. When you are practicing generosity, when you are practicing mindfulness, does not matter which meditation you practice. Okay. If it is explained by Supreme Buddha, if it is mentioned by Supreme Buddha, and the directions what you follow on the meditation, those all the meditations, the different various kinds of meditations, these are all the part of the 37 factors of enlightenment. And when you see that clearly in your life, when you see that clearly in front of you in your practices, then you can say that yes, I am studying the Dhamma, I am walking on the Dhamma, I am cultivating 37 factors of enlightenment. Okay. So once you understand that, and how to make those 37 factors of enlightenment the part of you, it becomes more easier. It becomes more easier. Because if you have a regret towards something, if you have laziness about them or remorse about something, then your mind will occupy more on these things than Dhamma. So anything, whenever you are thinking about Dhamma, forget about regret, forget about remorse. Just be steady on the path. That is the most important thing you will have. Because every one of us do mistakes. And in Supreme Buddha explained, don't linger with the mistakes. What you have done, just accept it and move further. If you do that, then embracing the Dhamma becomes more easier. Because now, when you look at the Dhamma, of these 37 factors of enlightenment, what it does, it takes you from this physical form, entire physical form what you have, from this form toward deeper inside, where? To your mind. The mind, it's not visible, it's not the physical form. So when you go deeper, then the way you look at your body, or way you look at this world changes. Like the effect on your body, you can identify easily. You can see that. But same thing happens to your mind, it's a little bit difficult, hard to be mindful for. So remember these things. From the subtle to, or from the gross thing to be subtle one, when you're walking toward that direction, you have to be more careful. You have to be more mindful. And how this happened, we will going to learn in these 37 factors of enlightenment. What it is, it's began with the 4 foundation of mindfulness. Okay, so 4 foundation of mindfulness, its first thing, it's about based on this body. The first foundation of mindfulness is based on this body, and the rest of other stuff, the rest of the path, like 36 factors, will go beyond this bodily form. It will directly affect directly connect with your mind. So in the Dhamma, in this physical form, what you do, it's not much important. The thing is, but what you're doing with this body, what you are acting, what you're behaving, whatever you're doing, with what mind you're doing, that is more important. So remember this thing, physical form is not that much important. The most thing you should concentrate on, it is a mind. If you have a happier mind, if you have a liberated mind, then looking at the Dhamma becomes more easier. Practicing of Dhamma, it becomes more easier. And how that is, we're going to learn today. Okay. So the sutta, or the best explanation you will have about the 37 factors of enlightenment from the beginning, it is comes in the Satipatthana Sutta, or from the Digha Nikaya, the Mahasatipatthana Sutta, or from the Majjhima Nikaya, Satipatthana Sutta. So the first couple of things you will see directly or clearly in this sutta. It is there that this entire Dhamma discourse was explained by Supreme Buddha when the Buddha was dwelling in the Kuru Janapada, Satipatthana Sutta. So at that time, the Supreme Buddha asked from the bhikkhus, he mentioned to the bhikkhus, Ekayano ayang bhikkhave maggo sattanang visuddhiya. And this is the only path, bhikkhus, to purifying of beings. Soka paridhanang samatikkamaya, dukkhadomanassanang atthangamaya, nyaya sadigamaya, nibbanasa satchikiriyaya. To get rid of all the surmounting of sorrow, lamentation, disappearance of pain and grief, for the attainment of true way, for the realization of Nibbana. So only one path is there. When the Supreme Buddha is mentioning only one path, it means that all the practice what we do, it's toward this path. If you understand that, if you are clear on that, then everything what you do every day with the name of the Buddha or name of the Dhamma, those becomes part of Sutta. Okay, so how those things identify, and this is mentioned here. So the Buddha mentioned, and one path, what is it? So it's made with the four foundation of mindfulness. And what are the four? So kayanupasti viharati. What? That this bhikkhu or this disciple is contemplating the body as a body. So kayanupasti viharati means having complete concentration. On what? On this body. Atapi sampajano satima. Atapi, it means striving. Atapi, it means with a strong effort. Sampajano, it means being mindful, being aware of everything. Satima, it means with that concentration. Vinaya loke, vinya domanasang, it means to having put away the covetousness and grief for this world. That is things. Looking at this. So with these qualities, what? With the striving, with the strength, with the mindfulness, being with awareness and being mindful. Dealing with what? To dealing with the covetousness, the greed that we have, the desire what we have toward this world, or when we see the worldly things, the desire what we have, dealing with that and the pain what we have feel in this life, grief what we have, desire what we have, dealing with them to subside or putting that away little for this moment. As we know that we cannot be away from the pain, as we know we cannot control our mind toward desire what we have, toward worldly things. It's not easy to do that. But when you are thinking about practicing the Dhamma, in that moment, you have to put that away for this moment. Like this thing happens very simple. As I said, when you practice generosity, in that moment, in that slightest split of second, when you are saying that I am giving something to you, or I'm giving something, you do not have a desire what the next person will get or not what next person has. You do not have a covetousness, you do not have a greed on that moment. So that is that single second of moment of someone for other people. It can be a little bit extended. They can have for whole day this bliss of generosity. You may have a little bit softness in your heart that yes, I am practicing. But when you look at the Dhamma, in that moment, it's clear. So such a thing can be made the part of your practices to developing the same state of mind when you're practicing generosity. And what you do, you strive, you take effort with the strength, atapi, with the strength, like uh, constant effort. With that, what you do, you develop awareness. Awareness of what? Everything happening to you in this moment. Being aware of all the things what you have. That with that awareness, with the mindfulness, awareness when it extends, you become a mindful. With that mindful, what you do, develop kayanupassi on this body. What you do, you contemplate as this is a body. Kayanupassi. Then, how is kayanupassi is mentioned in the Supreme Buddha's Dhamma? Like one by one, when we are looking at how this will happen, how this will help to look at our body as it is. Like we spend hours and hours to take care of this body, for maintaining this for bodily or for figure or these elements. What we do, we take care, since we wake up, we take care of, we brush, we take shower, everything we do, then for keeping it as it is, we take the proper diet, we take the nutrition, and then to being energetic, what we do, exercise, we do walking, all these things. And to keep this body properly functioning, we take rest for a proper amount of time. These all things happening on what? On this body. But very slight moment we are aware of this is body and that this is things, this all things is happening. Like most of time of me also, we forget that I am eating. So our mind is somewhere else. Sometimes the remote is in our hand, and then what we do, we change channels while we are eating, or our entire mind is on our mobile while we are eating. We do that thing. So there is no awareness that you are eating in this moment. So that's why the Supreme Buddha mentioned to the bhikkhus how they deal with this all things, how they can develop the awareness for the body. So the first thing Supreme Buddha mentioned about, when you are looking at your body, begin with the one thing which is constant from birth until you die. And that one is your breathing, your breath. When you come to this world, you cried for what? Not for hunger, you cried to breathe. And from that moment, this breathing is continuously constant thing in your life is there. When we are younger, when we are child, infant, that baby face we do not have. Even when we look at our pictures, we don't identify who was that person anymore. That much we have grown. All the things below what we had, these all things has changed. Everything, our body has changed, but the breathing is continuous. So the Supreme Buddha explained that, okay, be mindful of first thing which is constant, continuously happening without change. So if you make the anchor point of breathing, then you can go further. So how the Buddha explain about breathing? So be mindful that you are breathing in, breathing out. So the first thing about the Kaya Anupassana, it is Anapanasati. Anapanasati means breathing meditation. Be mindful. But this Anapanasati is not the only way, not the only thing that it is mentioned about doing in the concentrating on body. It has other things too. But practicing breathing meditation helps to all of them. Help them, okay? Not develop entirely. Help them to develop. Because the breathing meditation, what it do, it brings you in this proper present moment. That is the thing, that is the purpose of breathing meditation. What? To bring you in this moment without any thoughts, without any difficulties, without any wandering here and there. Like what? You may see, even if you are doing any work, whatever work you're doing, at first couple of moments, you have a concentrated mind. But as you get by, it becomes your nature to do that thing. Like if you're cooking, simply. The first, when you peel the onion or when you first cut, you become aware of your knife. The first try you take and couple of that. And later on, it becomes easy to chop all the onions. It becomes easy to cook later further. Why? Because you're not concentrating. You be talking to anyone else. But first couple of seconds, you become aware of every task you do. That task cannot be continued being mindful. Breathing meditation help you to do that same thing. Like when you do the breathing meditation, I know you are listening Dhamma for a long, long time. And you know what the steps of breathing meditation is. That you breathe in, breathe out, then you be mindful that I'm breathing longer breath or shorter breath. When that comes, the longer breath and shorter breath, how can you identify that I'm having longer breath in this moment if you haven't practiced for a long time? Because you have to compare that breath, that longer time what you are breathing. Yes, compared to yesterday, compared to this last or early in the morning, compared to this last evening, or 5 minutes before, I was breathing heavy. I had heavy breath. So I'm breathing longer breath. And now I'm breathing shorter breath in. So that change, if you want to see, then you have to be mindful for longer time. You have to be concentrating on various times and being mindful of breathing. Then that breathing goes a little bit further. Just breathing in, breathing out, that is the first step. Each and every one we have to take. But we have to be mindful for longer time for that. We have to concentrate for a long time to see that what kind of breathing we are taking. Then you can go a little bit further. And how you go further? That you see that being mindful of entire breath. So dividation of the breathing, that it's beginning, it's middle, it's end, and the pause between two breaths. So being mindful of that entire breath, you're breathing in, breathing out. Then being mindful of this entire body, you breathe in, breathe out. How? Now, when you have this practice or concentration for longer time of breathing, so every day make a part of your life that yes, practice the breathing meditation a bit of every day, do it little bit and little bit more, and collect all the information. Remember how your meditation was, how was your breathing. Be mindful of that, because that is important. So you can compare that breathing into the further practices. If you are not being able to do that, then every day come to the same spot. Think, I am breathing, and that's all. And you will see when you are being aware and awake, then automatically you are developing, or gradually you are developing the same technique what the Buddha mentioned. Some of the time, remember all, this is important. Some of the time, the different teachers or the teacher, what we see, they give us simple exercises with little bit more about the breathing or meditation. So those exercises are only to make you aware of your breath. So once you understand that, yes, I am breathing properly, forget about those techniques. Forget about those exercises. Come directly what the Buddha explained. Follow direct path of breathing meditation. Okay? Don't do, because I have seen in the same so many different teachings or techniques that they mention, okay, concentrate on your bowel, that when you breathe in, then your belly or stomach bowel is filling up, going down. Those are techniques is mentioned. Sometimes I also have given that technique for the couple of people. Then sometimes we said, okay, when you are breathing, count 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Those things, these are all to bring you on being mindful of your breath, not more than that. So remember. And then a little bit further. When you do the breathing meditation, it will help. Means be mindful of that. Then that helps to develop sampajana sati. Okay, sampajana, it means being aware, mindful. How that helps? So the Buddha mentioned that you should practice to be aware of everything what you do. In what way? I'm looking at the Pali words. So first thing is breathing, and then it goes about being aware, sampajan, iryavana. So being mindful of all the postures. What it does, that bhikkhu, for sometimes it may be a little bit difficult for us to concentrate 24/7. Means you cannot sit down for entire day and just concentrate on your breath. It's not possible. And is that doing breathing meditation is enough? No. Buddha explained that techniques is help you to be aware. That's all. What you do a little bit further, to look at your body. You cannot say when you're sitting in the meditation session, that is only to look at your body. No. If you want to be more aware, you have to see complete one. So the Buddha explained, Punacha parang bhikkave bhikkhu gacchanto va gacchami iti pajanati. So now, so breathing meditation cannot be happen, or you cannot do when you're walking. So the Buddha mentioned, or most of the time, we spend our time walking, we're going here and there, traveling. So that thing happened. So Buddha explained, when you are not practicing the meditation of breathing, then be mindful, develop this meditation. That meditation is for the certain time period when you are sitting down for meditation. Only then you can concentrate on your breath. But your rest of the day, it's not sitting in the one place. So the Buddha mentioned the second meditation called Iriya, to being the posture meditation comes. What is it? When you are walking, Buddha mentioned here, Gacchanto va gacchami iti pajanati. When you are going somewhere or walking somewhere, be mindful that you are walking there. Thito va thitomi iti pajanati. When you are standing in one place, be mindful that you are standing. Nisinno va nisinnomi iti pajanati. Nisinno means sitting down. Okay, so sitting down in any place. When you are sitting down, be mindful of you are sitting down. It's not that you may see that behind Raymond there is a huge couch. So sometimes when you are looking at the TV, what we do, just immediately fall on that. We don't become aware that I'm sitting or something is there on the couch. Oh, it spoke sometime. That happens. So that is not being mindful. When you sit down for there, be properly sit down. So that is important. Then Buddha explained, Nisinnoa nisinno miti pajanati. When you are sitting down, when you're sitting, being aware of sitting. And then Sayanova sayano iti pajanati. When you're laying down, you become mindful of that. So Sayanova, it means sleeping. Sayanova, it means the posture what you take for sleeping. It's when you fall asleep, your mind will work in dreams, it will go somewhere else, but you will not know that you're sleeping. So when you lay down for sleeping, or any time, all entire day, whenever you are laying down, whenever you are, take that posture, even on the couch, it's okay. Be aware that yes, in this moment I have this posture, and that's all. So this thing, how you can do? You cannot be mindful for 24/7 of these postures. So the one beautiful thing I can say, be aware to do these things every day. When you begin to walk, doesn't matter when you're on call or something, give a little slightest pause and then tell yourself, I'm walking now. That's all. And then continue your call. Okay? When you're sitting, just be mindful of that second. Yes, I am sitting. And then you can continue watch TV match or anything or any conversation what you have. Okay? When you are sitting somewhere, be mindful that. When you're walking somewhere, mindful that. When you stand, even for look toward the signal or look toward anything, be mindful of that. So it does not have to be continuous one at beginning, like being totally aware of this all things. No, at beginning, just be mindful at the first thing it's happening in that moment. That's all, and that will help you to be mindful. In the meditation time, that entering in the meditation and waking up, that these are two steps is very important. Like entering in the meditation, it means preparing your mind to do. So like we do all the time, every day when we sit for meditation or in this session, I give the instruction, okay, be aware where you are sitting, in which environment, or where you are sitting in this moment. That is important. That is important thing. And then you can do the meditation. So for what? So that will be the anchor point when you are distracted, when you go somewhere else. Go somewhere else, not physically, because you're meditating. With your mind, if you go somewhere else, what you'll do? You can bring back your mind to that certain point. Why I'm saying this? For so many times, for so many people, this happens. You're doing something else, and immediately you become, confused a little bit. What I am doing? Where am I? That happens to everyone, not only you. It happens to me sometimes too. If I'm going, everything is happening in my mind, and if I'm walking or doing, or where I'm in this moment, sometimes you cross the path where you want to go. You forget that turn where you want to go, and then you cross that. So that becomes anchor point should be there to come back. That is also part of meditation. Not only just a breathing meditation. Breathing meditation helps to bring you in the present moment. But these are the meditations you have to take, you have to practice. Because for so many people, for so many times, that they said, okay, breathing meditation is the only thing you have to do. No, these are the meditations, what is mentioned in there. Because Kayanupassana is not only breathing. Kayanupassana, it means being mindful of this body. Everything, contemplating everything, whatever happening. That. So that is the second thing Supreme Buddha mentioned in the Kayanupassana, what? To be aware of your postures. When you are sitting, when you are walking, when you are standing, when you are sitting, when you are laying down, be mindful, I am doing that. And you cannot do 24/7 thing. So initiating of that, what do you do? Every time when you take a steps, let's just know that I am walking, that's all. When you stand somewhere to see, even in the queue in Starbucks or even in a Tim Horton, if you're standing there and saying, yes, I want coffee, be mindful. I am standing here, that's all. And you will see in the long run, you're becoming more and more aware of your portions. And that is development of Dhamma. Then, Sampajana. So when you become mindful of your body, when you become mindful of postures, then Supreme Buddha says, Punacha parang bhikkave bhikkhu abhikante patikante sampajanakari hoti. Which means when you are going further forward, you become aware. When you are coming back, abhikante means walking, taking steps further, and coming back from there, it's called patikante. Okay, so abhikante, patikante, sampajanakari. So the next step, when you know that you're walking, but in which direction, where, you become mindful that I am going toward this direction. You become aware of that. Second thing, when you're coming, I'm coming back, I'm going back to home. You are coming back to home. So that is called patikante. Abhikante, it means going further. Patikante, it means coming back. Remember those words. Okay. So become sampajanakari. Sampajanakari, it means become aware, being mindful. Develops awareness in that moment. Second thing Supreme Buddha mentioned. That is the first. Second mention, alokite, vilokite. Alokite means when you are looking further, when you're looking outside, surrounding, alokite, that becomes when you're looking in front of you, that is called alokite. Vilokite means when you're looking sideways, that thing. So you become aware of where you are looking. You're looking in this side or that side, you're looking further, forward. You have to become mindful, aware of that. Then samminjite pasarite sampajanakari hoti. Samminjite, it means This you have limbs, you have legs. So when you change, when you move them, Samyajita it means folding your hands. Pasarita it means opening your hands or legs also, same thing for both. Samyajite, pasarite, sampajanakari. You become aware of that. You see how the Supreme Buddha is taking? First, he mentioned, okay, just be mindful of your breath. Yeah, you're breathing. That's all. That is a common thing you're doing. Okay, so be aware of your breathing. And then, yes, okay, be mindful of how you're breathing. Longer, shorter breath, So in the morning, sometimes your breath may be short. If you're in the middle of the day, if it's a little bit hot weather, then you breathe a little bit longer or shorter. That changes with time. Yeah. So you become mindful. Then he asks, okay, do this way. Be mindful that what you're doing. You're sitting, then be aware you're sitting. When you're walking, be aware of your walking. When you're standing, be aware of that. When you're laying down, be aware of that. In this four posture, what the Buddha mentioned, what you are doing in this moment. What? Like when you are walking. So which direction you are walking? You're walking forward. That is called uh, what it called abhikant. Then you are coming back, patikant. Then while walking, you cannot keep your eyes closed. Can you? Can you do that like you're doing in meditation? No. You keep your eyes open. So you're looking at towards something. Buddha mentioned, look toward that. Alokite, vilokite. Looking forward, looking sideways. Be mindful. In the driving, they always mention before crossing, before taking turn, look at your right. If someone is coming from there, you know, they ask you to look at the back mirror also. And it becomes our nature now. Even you are talking with someone who is driving, that person is most of the time, it's aware that who is coming behind us. Isn't that happen? You are when you're driving, that happens. Time to time, you have made yourself that much aware to look into the both side mirrors and back mirror also. And even in that moment, you're looking at signals also. Isn't that the mindfulness? Isn't that the awareness that what you are doing? It is awareness. But we are not aware that this is awareness I am practicing. It is a part of Dhamma, being aware. So that moment, split second, when you are having conversation, you concentrate, let yourself know, I am aware of driving in this certain extent amount. When you are distracted, you know what happens. You know, accident happens. So if it is not happening in this moment, it means you are aware of driving. That is Supreme Buddha mentioned about this meditation. Sampajana. Sampajana. Sometimes happen. You lock the car and you look for your keys to open the door and you forget. You forgot the bag in the car. So you run back. It means in that moment you have lose the concentration. Sampajan, awareness. Be mindful. Oh, I wasn't aware of that. And then we make that it's silly me, something like this. I forgot. So that thing should be mindful. When it happened continuously, you become aware of that. This area bhavana is fulfilling in this moment. There is a one thing called Dhamme Dhammanupassiviyarati, phenomena, looking at a Dhamma in this entire worldly things. This body is also part of that Dhamma. Your car, your home, your neighbors, each and every being is coming to that phenomenon. Everything. Looking for that is called Dhamma. Being aware of that. So to go toward looking at this phenomena or all the things, the worldly things, look at first yourself. Without that, you cannot. That's why Supreme Buddha mentioned. And slowly, then Buddha mentioned, Sammanjite pasare sampajanakari hoti. Then Sangatipatta Chivardharane Sampajanakari hoti. So, like for us, it is a Sangati or wearing the robe, this robe when we wear, become mindful. But for you, you're not wearing robe, you're wearing dresses. So be mindful of that. We become very conscious about what we are wearing, in which occasion what we are wearing. When you are going to parties, you don't go simply like you're going to the office. You don't wear form. That thing you have to be mindful. So whatever you are wearing clothes, when you are wearing, like that this there here I am going, and for the suitable thing is this I'm wearing. That's only you have to become aware that I am wearing this clothes, this thing. Sampajana bhav, not more than that. For monks also the same thing. When you are wearing the robe, be mindful that you are wearing robe. When you take something, so every day when you say, don't forget your wallet, they ask, don't forget your keys. That thing, that is here. Patta chivardharane. When you take your bowl, when you take your robe, you become mindful. So everything, when you are going to office, if you are having any meeting and you have the folder of files, you take with you. So today is my meeting and this is the folder that I have to present in front of members. So you take that and you go. That is being mindful. You were aware of that moment. I make this presentation. I have these all things and I am taking that. That is mentioned here. Sangati patta chivardhani sampajanakari hoti. Then Supreme Buddha mentioned asite, pite, khaite, saite, sampajanakari hoti. Pite, when you are drinking something, be mindful of that. Like, let's say, when you are in the coffee, when you are taking your coffee, just be mindful. Sometimes we are. Like what? When we drink coffee, we immediately be mindful of that. What? Sugar is less. Coffee is fresh or not. Aren't we? Yeah. And what we do? We change. We make that according to ourselves, what we like. That is mindfulness. That is mindfulness. But we forget immediately. That is a lack of what we have. So just be mindful. Okay, I am drinking in this moment and this is the thing. Being aware is a part of Dhamma. Then kaite, eating, So we have a very good tongue, It, it tastes everything. It's spicy, it's salty, or you can say it's bitter. Everything it tastes, and the reactions based on that, we have always let that happen. And the memories what we have with this tongue, these all things. You go to the pizza shop, you buy pizza, you will compare every time when you take the first bite, you will compare it with the previous pizza or before that. But you wasn't paying attention on the pizza, but your tongue remember that I have tasted this and last time it was more delicious than today. So what we do, we just say, oh, the shape must have changed, or we say, okay, they are not making, I'm not going to eat it. So we fall in the negativity. If it is delicious, what we do, we fall into loving that. I want it more and more. That thing. But before that, awareness what we have, awareness that, okay, I am tasting it. That is the part of Dhamma. After that second, it's not. So that thing you have to be mindful. Why I'm saying this? Because most of time being aware with Sampajana meditation, we say that we should develop this meditation, but we don't know how to develop this meditation. So this is the technique. What you are doing, be mindful of that and extend that beyond this same that point. That's all. That is all. That's all. So one by one, when you do, you become aware of everything. And then Supreme Buddha mentioned, Uchchara Pastav Kammi Sampajanakari Huti. Even when you go to the toilet, using washroom, all that time, what you are doing, be aware. So then Supreme Buddha said, Gate Chite Nisinne Sutte Jagarite Bhasite Tunni Bhave Sampajanakari Huti. Overall, Supreme Buddha mentioned, each and every activity when you are awake, whatever you do, be mindful of that. That is called Sampajana meditation. Isn't it different from the breathing meditation? In breathing meditation, it looks more, subtle that in front of you because you're sitting in one position and you are closing your eyes and then forcing you to breathe. But this meditation, it is about everything. So for the 5 minutes of breathing meditation, we say, oh, I have done the meditation in longer time. I have done the beautiful meditation. We see. You have experience of your breathing meditation. You sit down for half an hour and how you feel? You feel proud. Oh, half an hour I have done the meditation. It's beautiful. What about this one? You have to do that too. So if you counted it entire this not 24 hours 24 hours 8 hours you are sleeping, so 16 hours you can say 16, how many minutes, how many seconds you are awake. Look at that meditation as a part of liberation. Once you do that, you will see now from this moment when you look, your breathing meditation has automatically improved. But improved by what? Improved by this meditation. And that is important. So breathing meditation is one technique Buddha mentioned to us to do, but this is also one technique to go further. So develop the Sampajana meditation. When we are doing this sutta, share your experience. Okay? Because I know we are beings who react on people's conversations, or who we react. That is our nature. Like another person is saying good words to us, immediately the happiness from us, the big smile come to us. So that reaction is there. So when the next person look, oh, the smile is there, it means it's happy. Happy by what? By your words. Someone is calling you, immediately you get angry. You become sad. That is the reaction you get. So when I'm talking about this entire sutta, you will have the experience of that too. You don't have to mention, you don't have to send a huge number. Just mention that how this is changing you. That's all. Because change in the Dhamma, change toward Dhamma is really important to be aware and mindful of. And the sutta is entirely based on change. How you are changing, being mindful of that is important. Okay, so this is Sampajana, and then Supreme Buddha mentioned about Pilikula Bhavana. So the next week we will complete the Kayanupassana, and then we will go to Vedananupassana. Vedananupassana is also fascinating one. Okay, so remember 2 things we learned today, not 3 things we learned today. What are those? We learn that if you want to walk on the path of enlightenment, what you must have? You must forget about regret, remorse. Okay? Whatever your bodily actions may have, forget about them. So, okay, you have done something wrong, or this one is wrong. Forget about it. Accept it, what you did, and then move forward. Second thing, be mindful that each and every word in the Dhamma explains it leads toward enlightenment. It leads toward the 37 factors of enlightenment. Even when you are practicing virtuous behavior, this is happening. When you are practicing generosity, you're walking toward that. When you are practicing meditation, any kind of meditation, loving kindness meditation also, it leads toward enlightenment. That thing you should understand. Then remember, breathing meditation is not the only meditation that Buddha mentioned to attain enlightenment. This breathing meditation is a part of the chain of meditations. Breathing meditations, basically, most the proper thing is that to be mindful or being aware of this present moment is that thing you should remember. Then Supreme Buddha mentioned about how to develop that, and then further we learn that being aware of postures, standing, walking, standing, sitting, and laying down. Be aware of that. So every from now on, whenever you do, just give your mind a small nudge. Okay, you are doing this. That's all. And then when you do for 2 or 3 days that continuously, then begin to be mindful of all the things what you are doing. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. I'm talking. I'm thinking of this. That's all. These things you do, these are separate meditations, and this separate meditation helps. You know, and you will see we are filled with the joy and happiness. Smaller things you will be aware of. Feeling happy, like when you're cooking. I mean, because I can see every time I look at Harry, I see his kitchen, so I can see that gas and stove. So yes, everything. So in microwave also. Okay. So that time, every time when you go to the kitchen, you remember the good recipes for all. And that moment, the taste, isn't that happy feeling? But we are not aware of that. That I'm saying. We forget the happiness of our life and choose to feel that in the entire day someone has said a one word to you, bad word, and we hold that word to spoil our entire day. But we forget this small happiness. This meditation, not breathing meditation, this meditation will help you to nurture that goodness, that nurture that happiness, and will give you you know, when you are in desert, the drop of water is also enough to quench your thirst. That thing is same thing you have to do in this life. Journey of samsara is kind of walking in the desert. If you gather these small drops of the happiness, it will keep your life bearable, happy, and will help you to walk further. So this meditation is for to live a full life, not the half, not the forgetting one.
Bante, I have a reflection and
Yes,
question.
yes,
First thing, definitely very, very glad and very thankful that Bante shared this mindfulness foundation for foundations, and you start with the body. And and personally, I think that the Buddha made mention of breathing as the very basic to start with is also very precise and very accurate in the sense that it's really happening to everybody and especially with the COVID. Okay, so
yeah,
because uh, I know the fact that many many of the casualties of COVID, including two of my friends from last year, they just died suddenly in a short time, and everything it's based on the breathing. Okay, so because of the complications of the body, so that links to the breathing. 4 days, within 4 days, just gone because of breathing. Yeah, so it's very painful. So and then we healthy people like us, we are not aware of breathing. So sometimes because every day we just breathe, right? So unless we do the breathing meditation. So sadhu sadhu to Buddha. Now, Bante, my question is, for some of the unfortunate people like the COVID patients or even my previous boss, I just learned the other day that she passed away from a lung cancer. So it's also
Okay.
breathing. Okay, so for us who are more fortunate, um, we are okay. But then for the very unfortunate ones, they are feeling very difficulty with the pain in the physical body, and now we want to help them by telling them, advising them to be mindful, to use the mind, to breathe. So how will that help? I mean, how can they do it? So because they are feeling pain in the body already, and yet we want them to be mindful, to use the mind. How can we shift the attention or explain further? So may Bante share this to us?
It's very simple. I mean, not simple. It's complicated to do, but simple to say. Thing is, if you cut your hand, I mean, like a little bit slice, and the okay, how much longer do you remember the pain? Not 24/7. When you touch it, then you remember that yes, there is a pain, longer time. So all the patients, that happens also. When you directly pay attention on your sickness, the pain is more stronger than when you are not. Okay. So usually doctor says change your way of looking something else, think about something else. For them, this meditation is not completely to do. And what I say, breathing meditation or being aware is a one part of Dhamma, not completely. Everyone does not have to do the breathing meditation. Not everyone. If someone is doing, it's great for that person. Best thing they can do. But for some people, it's a little bit difficult to do. For them, it's not necessary to do it. They can do in different form of meditations. Because all the meditation what the Buddha explained leads toward this particular direction of enlightenment. So they don't have to be aware or mindfulness for that moment in particular. Though I am breathing. No, they are suffering. They are in pain. You cannot say their physical form is hurting. You cannot ask them to look at your pain in this moment. But be mindful of what? To develop the happiness, develop the meditation, develop the compassion, develop the upekha. Upekha is the best way to do, you know, forgetting about this moment. That is upekha says, not forgetting, saying this, looking beyond that. That is upekha. So for them, it's not to look at the postures. For them, it's different. That's what I'm saying. We will learn these things one by one. I will say next in couple of them in this Kayanupasana, there are a couple of sentences. It helps to those people who are unable to do that. Okay, we will learn that. See.
Bante. So something like change their mindset, see
Yes.
beyond the pain.
Yep.
So the
Yep.
pain is could be temporary or something like that, but then let them change the mindset.
Yeah.
Okay, think bigger. Okay, thank you, Bante.
Yes.
Sadhu, sadhu.
Yeah.